welcome. You're watching Head to Head. I'm Antonina Antosha with UATV. The EU ambassador to Ukraine recently named 5 steps for Ukraine to take in order to fully implement the EU-Ukraine Association Agreement. A proper monitoring mechanism was one of these steps. The official stressed that oligarchs and populists are trying to hinder the implementation of the agreement with EU. So what does Ukraine still have to do to get the association deal going? To talk more about this, we're joined in the studio today by Lyubov Akulenko, the Executive Director of the Ukrainian Center for European Policy. Hello, and thank you for joining us.
Hello.
So could you please clarify, what does the proper monitoring mechanism mean? What did he really mean?
Proper monitoring is one of the main instruments that Ukraine needs to provide successful implementation of association agreement. But personally, for me, it's not enough. Since currently Ukraine started this process in a special institution, we have cabinet of ministers, we have governmental office that is responsible for European integration, and this institution every year is producing regular monitoring reports. Currently, they even started to use figures to show the progress of implementation of association agreement. But personally, for me, those facts that we are monitoring association agreement, it's okay, but it is not enough. Since if we want association agreement was implemented successfully, we need to think more broadly, because monitoring process is like one small step. What I mean when I'm speaking about broader context, I mean that association agreement does not have membership perspective. What does it mean in global sense? In global sense, it means that business, different stakeholders in Ukraine do not understand for what we need to implement. These reforms are very painful. Yes, we understand that EU standards are the best in the world and they provide us opportunity to enter all markets we want. But what is the price and for what? The price is expensive, but for what we need to do this?
So what are we doing this for?
I think that Hugh Mingarelli did not mention about membership perspective because it's like a very painful issue for EU, but I'm sure that without such communication and such discussions, for us it will be very difficult to implement, since when you are pushing, when our governmental office is pushing, or some members of the parliament are pushing those legislations that we need to implement for association agreement, it's rather difficult because we have different business groups in the parliament that are not ready for these changes. Or
are not interested.
Yeah, and you mentioned about oligarchs, that Hugh Mingarelli was speaking about oligarchs. It is also a very discussable issue, since agrarian oligarchs are interested very much in implementation of association agreement. And if we analyze all sectors, sector by sector, we will see that in agrarian sector we are very successful. And if you ask why we are so successful, because agrarian oligarchs, they understand the profit, because they are exporting products and they have great interest. All other stakeholders, they do not understand the profit from association agreement.
How can we educate them?
It's impossible to educate them. We need to have strong political will that should go from our president, from our prime minister. And if currently it's impossible to receive membership perspective, I'm sure that we need to start discussion with EU institutions, that we need something that is in the middle.
In return, right?
Something that will be deeper than association agreement, but something that will
less
be
than a membership.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So, all right, proper monitoring mechanism was just one step that Hugh Mingarelli has voiced. What are the other 4?
Proper monitoring is first step. Second step that I mentioned is membership perspective. And the other thing that we need is to involve stakeholders from the parliament in the process of implementation of association agreement.
How successful are we on that? step for now?
We are not very successful, since if you analyze how Ukraine is implementing association agreement, you will see that we have like several institutions. We have line ministries that are elaborating draft laws. After they send them into the cabinet of ministers, and after cabinet of ministers sends these draft laws to the parliament. And in the parliament, it's like the weakest place in the process of implementation, because in the parliament is an institution that is representing different business groups. And if different business groups do not understand the profit, at least they will not support. In worst case, they will block. So those business groups that understand the profit, they are supporting the process of implementation.
And those who don't block it?
And those who do not understand, they just do not support, they do not vote. Those who do not, those for whom it is painful in sense of adoption of EU standards, it's a rather costly process. They are blocking this process. What we need to do, we need in such situation we have Vice Prime Minister that is responsible for EU integration. It is positive fact, but I think that she should be more aggressive in communication with our parliament. She should be more stronger. It's my personal point of view.
Okay. Another step that has been voiced is to have a strong responsibility on Ukrainian and on European side. What does it mean?
It's a very discussable issue, since it's international agreement. But if you analyze this agreement, you will see that we have lots of tasks on Ukrainian side, but there are no tasks on EU side. And now I think that it is time, those actual time when we can start negotiations with EU to speak about their obligations, because currently they are developing a new vision of Europe. They are negotiating their relationship with Turkey, with Western Balkans, with Great Britain, but there are no discussion about Ukraine. I think that we should start this discussion. We should be involved in this process, and we should start to speak with EU institutions that, guys, we understand that you are not ready to provide us membership perspective, but we want you to provide us deeper integration. We want to speak with you about your obligations that are not written in the association agreement.
From your point of view, what are those obligations on the side of the European Union?
It depends on the sector you want to analyze. For example, if we take custom reform, there are lots of obligations that Ukraine needs to do to make our custom more transparent. But if you want to create conditions when our business is passing Ukrainian custom and EU custom very fast, we need to synchronize our procedures with EU procedures. There are lots of things like electronic declaration, one-stop shop. It will be not enough if only Ukraine start to do this. We need also like some steps from EU side. We even can have a situation when we will have like one custom border, no Ukraine and no EU, only one custom border. It sounds like something crazy and impossible, but it is, if we want to provide and to receive deeper integration, we need to speak about some crazy things that will help us to transform our country. It's my point of view.
To at least go halfway, right?
Yeah,
to get into the middle.
If currently they do not provide us possibility to become their member, at least to become more closer to them.
Okay, on July 9th, right, in Brussels, there's going to be a Ukraine-EU summit. What should we expect from that?
I know that from Ukrainian side, our Ukrainian government is elaborating some propositions about how we can make our integration with EU more deeper, and what steps we should do to go further than association agreement. If I'm not mistaken, they are speaking about energy market, they are speaking about digital market, they are speaking about trade of goods, and Schengen unit. I think that if you want to receive more details, you need to speak with representatives from governmental office. But at least it looks like that Ukraine started to behave like not an object in the international policy, but as a subject. We want to dictate our agenda, but I'm not sure that what will be the reaction of EU if they are ready to speak about new obligations. Because what they can answer that, guys, you need to implement association agreement till 2025. Currently, your results are not very good. And now you start to speak about additional obligations from EU. So it's tricky situation. But I think that if EU will provide us some additional obligations, it will be a motivator for those stakeholders in our parliament that are not ready to support association agreements. We need to show those people who are skeptical to association agreements that it is possible to receive more and more perspective in spite of those facts that we currently do not have membership perspective.
Well, hopefully we will get membership perspective because we are working hard on it, so which means that one day we will have it. Thank you so much for coming, clarifying that all for us.
You're welcome.
That was Lyubov Akulenko. She's the Executive Director of the Ukrainian Center for European Policy. Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned with UATV.